Hey guys, what's up? In today's video, we're going to run through how you can create awesome mood boards for your fashion design portfolio. So you guys have already seen me create mood boards on this channel, but I've never run through the process of how they came about. For example, this one I made for a children's wear range, girls wear actually. This one is for a women's wear collection based on a cottagecore theme. And this one is an Indian ethnic wear mood board, which also has a second part to it that looks like this. But today I'm going to take you through the whole mood board creation process. Right from how you can find inspiration up to how you can create the perfect layout for all the pictures on your mood board. So let's begin. I'm gonna first start with the most basic of questions. What exactly is a mood board? In simple terms, it's a collection of pictures that perfectly describe what your collection is going to be about. It's a document that shows your inspirations, first and foremost, and secondly, visually directs the viewer, telling them that this is what my clothes are going to look like, and these are the fabrics, colors, print techniques, etc. that you can expect to see in my range. Now, the next question, of course, is how do we begin creating one? The very first step is finding inspiration. After working all these years as a fashion designer, I have realized that your inspiration can be as specific as the iridescence that you once saw on the wings of a butterfly back in 2002. Or it can be as broad as the metaverse revolution. So guys, go wherever you want, delve into whatever you like to find your inspiration. Whether it's going online, reading magazines, visiting malls, museums, the beach, Goa, Kerala, there are no rules whatsoever on where or how you should find your inspiration. So once you find your inspiration, step number 2 is to begin with research, where as designers, your only task is to find answers to the question, how do I translate my inspiration into an apparel collection? Now, there are many different ways of going about this question, but a simple and common tool that designers use to begin with is a mind map. A mind map will basically set the foundations of your entire research and allow you to build upwards from there. Let me show you how. So I'm opening a fresh page on Illustrator to create my mind map, but you can just write out things on a piece of paper even. Let's go use my previous example and say that it is the iridescence on a butterfly's wings that inspired me. So I'm going to write it down at the center of my mind map. Now, the very first question I'm going to ask myself is, what even is it? What causes it and why does it happen? Are there maybe specific instances when it happens? And on doing research on Google, I found that it's caused when light hits the different layers of a butterfly's wing. Let's break it down further. It's a phenomenon called the coherent scattering of light and usually happens when butterflies see a potential mate as a means of attracting them. So now that I'm clear on what it is, I'm going to ask myself, how does this beautiful phenomenon of iridescence make me feel? My collection's inspiration is personal to me, so I'm going to list whatever I feel. For me, the iridescence that I see on a butterfly's wings makes me feel like there is so much magic in the world. Then, is that a feeling I want to translate to my designs? Are there any more feelings or moods that I want to evoke through my range? I'm going to answer this by saying that when somebody wears a piece from my collection, I want them to feel magical first and foremost. I also want them to feel happy and whimsical, somewhere reminiscent of childhood and the first few times you laid your eyes on a butterfly. I also want them to feel positive and lightweight and unburdened, like a butterfly in mid-air. And next, if I could choose colors to best describe these feelings and these moods, which would they be? So I would choose subtle, soft, pastel and powdery shades. Warm toned colors that make you feel comfortable. I'm specifically thinking of shades of blues and pinks. And based on the data I have written so far, which age group would best suit my collection? I'm going to say young women between 20 and 30 because this is an age where we are adulting, old enough to stress about life and its burdens, but young enough to forget how magical life is and how grateful we actually need to be. And what occasions do I see these women wearing my clothes? Special occasions, occasions of meaning. Thinking of all the light activity that is involved in this phenomenon of iridescence, it only makes sense that these garments need to be created for events where the wearer shines. Maybe the launch of their brand, or they are winning an award, or they're being honored for something that they did. Events of magic that will go down in their own little history book. Are there any specific shapes or silhouettes that I'm envisioning? I'm picturing a small capsule collection of gowns, all in feminine shapes, A-lines, empire waists, low necklines, off shoulders, side slits. And are there any specific styling details that I'm thinking of? Yes, maybe heat set pleats or accordion pleats, rouleau loops, corset-like features. I'm thinking of small panels of muted floral embroidery and a little bit of 3D butterfly applique placed on these panels of embroidery so that a part of the garment starts to resemble butterflies in a garden. And do I have an idea of fabrics that might work for these shapes? I'm thinking of satins, maybe glass tissue or organza, the kind that come with a little bit of iridescent touch to it. Maybe cotton silks with an ombre effect running through them. And I will stop here with the mind map example, guys. But in this way, go on an introspection journey of asking yourself about your own ideas first. What do you want? Which colors and fabrics are you imagining in your range? And for each question that I have shown here, go further and break each one down even more. For example, what more about your target market? Then, when you are done jotting down all your ideas, the second part of your research is to substantiate your own ideas with external research. For this, we need to go check out fabric shops, competitor stores, even reach out to manufacturers, etc. And online, we head to websites like WGSN to gather information on the latest colors, fabrics, artworks, etc. that are trending in the market. Because I might have written that organza is a great fabric for its iridescent properties, but a deep dive into the latest fabric developments will probably show me a fabric that is much better suited. Now, for this external research, what are some awesome websites to give you the information that you seek? WGSN, like I mentioned, is usually a designer's #1 source of information, but it is also sadly very expensive. So here is a list of great alternatives that you can check out. Another thing to keep in mind is while you run through these websites for your external research, also be on the lookout for pictures. And of course, needless to say, if you are ever in need of more pictures, Pinterest is a great website for amazing visuals. Now, once your research is done, your theory for why you chose this inspiration and how you're going to translate it into your designs is now set, and more importantly, you have gathered a ton of pictures. The next move is to shortlist and choose your very best pictures, ones that truly represent your inspiration and your design translation, and lay them out on a collaging software. I personally like to work on Adobe Illustrator. Now here is an important list for you guys to keep in mind. Try to have one key picture representing each of these categories, or even one picture that represents multiple categories. So in that way, when you present your mood board to a client, or you are attending a job interview and presenting your portfolio to the recruiter, all the main aspects of your range are covered in your mood board, and nobody can tell you that something is missing. I specifically want to talk about two things: the color palette and the fabrics. Now, there are two main ways of selecting a color palette. I wanted pastel and powdery colors for my butterfly board, right? So my first option is, during my previous research, I could have taken a ready pastel color palette from a fashion forecasting website like WGSN, which is a trusted website that literally states the colors that are going to be trending in the upcoming season. Or I can pick out colors from the pictures that I found. Softwares like Adobe Illustrator will let me use the eyedropper tool in this manner to select the exact color as seen in a picture that I like. In that way, I can even create my own color palette from scratch. And regarding fabrics, even though this is a digital mood board, the best option would be to keep a physical record of maybe 10 by 10 centimeter swatches that you picked up from your research at stores, etc. Take a picture of these fabrics and add it into your mood board. But if for some reason you do not have physical swatches of fabrics, make sure to search online for a picture of it and then add that to your mood board. Now let's get to my favorite part, the layout. So I think you guys know by now that I do not create my mood boards in the traditional square box organized layout. I find a lot of beauty in chaotic, shuffled, unorganized collages because it's so eye-catching and different from the norm. So using the pictures I found for my butterfly inspiration, I'm going to try and create a unique mood board layout, and I'll give you my tips along the way. My very first tip is don't think. Just start placing pictures here, there, everywhere. Keep moving them about until you find something that looks okay. It's going to take time, so be patient with it. Tip number 2 is to edit the colors of your pictures on Photoshop. Now there is a very good chance that most of the pictures you collected do not fall into the color palette that you want. Let's look at this image for example. The colors are totally wrong, but the silhouette is so right for the theme. Start by unembedding the image, then choose Edit in Photoshop. Then in Photoshop, I'm using my polygonal lasso tool to first highlight just her dress. Then I'm going to change it to the exact shade of pink that is in my mood board. Go to Image, Adjustments, Color Balance, and mess with the different settings. Save the image once you are done on Photoshop. And when you go back to Illustrator and get a message like this, hit yes. The colors of that image have now been updated. Tip number 3 is to go crazy and get creative with what you have. Let's break it into sub-tips. 1. Start doing strange stuff to your pictures. Invert them, flip them, reflect them, or give them a bit of a tilt. 2. Cut pictures into 2 and place them in different parts of the mood board. 3. Superimpose the oddest objects over another. I'm going to put this butterfly on her face. 4. Make your mood board look crafty by modifying pictures to look like Polaroids or pictures torn out from magazines. Also add stationery like sellotape, duct tape, paper clips, board pins, pearl pins, etc. 5. Fill in any extra space by adding pictures of trims like buttons, zippers, etc. 6. Add a drop shadow effect to some of the pictures and make them stand out. For this, go to Effect, Stylize, Drop Shadow. Choose your settings and hit OK. 7. Clip mask an artwork or a print technique into a circle, give it a white border, and place it on your board to fill up space. 8. Add overlays. Let's say this board has a super grungy theme and I want a grainy texture added to it. Find a textured picture like this, come to the transparency panel on the right, adjust the transparency mode to darken. The dotted texture is now added to my board. 9. Fill empty background spaces with pictures of relevant elements that are placed on a white background. For example, watercolor paint splashes. Place the image like this at the back to fill up the extra white space. You can try the same effect with smoke on a white background, fabric on a white background, etc. 10. For empty corners on a mood board, find corner object pictures like this. Open them in Photoshop and delete the white background. For this, first click on the magic wand tool to highlight the main white space. Then go to Select, Similar to highlight all the similar white spaces on the picture. Then choose your background eraser tool and simply draw a line on the background like so and hit Delete. Then save your image, and when you go back to Illustrator again, you will get a pop-up like this. Hit Yes and embed it. Your picture now has no background. Let's move it to the corner of the board. Go to Effect, Blur, Gaussian Blur. Choose a radius of about 9 and hit OK. So now it looks like one of those photographs where an object at the front has been blurred out, focusing on the background instead. This works great for boards with a lot of nature and greenery. 11. If you have a strong floral element in your mood board, you can find flowers on a white background, remove the background like I showed you now, and place them like so. I'm doing the same thing with butterflies as well to make them look like they are flying away from my board. 12. Add text because somehow mood boards look empty without text. Add a concept note or a quote or create your own write-up. 13. Use the clip mask feature to crop out backgrounds behind models. For example, this picture has a background that is not blending well on my board, so I'm gonna crop it out. I'm also adding a few more similar pictures. Now coming back to our main tips. Tip number 4 is to think of a name if you do not already have one. At this stage, you will also have to start finding a place where you can write your name on the board. During my research for the range, I came across the word El, which is of Hebrew and Greek origin. It means sun ray. And when I saw the word, I was like, bang on, this is what I should call my collection, because the phenomenon that I am inspired by is literally caused by a sun ray. The name El could also translate to bright, shining one. And if I'm right, it also means she in French, and this is a women's wear range, so everything just fit. When you find the right word, you will feel it, guys. So I'm gonna make some place on top here, maybe move these flowers to the right, then add a tiny panel with my name on it. I hope that this video gave you a few ideas for your fashion design portfolio. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.